I've got all 7 of the brand new Valentino Anatomy of Dreams fragrances. I'm going to tell you what they smell like and who's going to like them. Okay, so this new collection came out like a month ago, 2 months ago. I had a video on TikTok and on Instagram and I spoke about just 3 of them, and I was blown away by the amount of comments, the amount of interest, the amount of saves that you guys gave on this. So a request from you just to do a fuller video. So I'm going to go through all 7 of them. The ones I spoke about previously, the first 3, I'll put the last 3 on this. So if you've seen that before, you're not going to have to watch anything that you don't already know. Hi, if you are new here, press subscribe, press follow, wherever you are, come and join. Okay, so this is a private blend collection from Valentino, much like Tom Ford have done, much like Dior have done, much like Chanel have done. This is an elevated collection, elevated in terms of ingredients. The perfumers they've worked with are some of the top dogs in fragrance, and elevated in terms of price. They are 100 mils, which is this, and they are £295. They're exclusive at the moment from Selfridges and from Valentino boutiques. I'm going to give you all this top info. Also, if you do buy directly from Valentino, I believe you will get a sample with it first. So you can try it, you can see if you like it before you get into this and then can't return it. So all of them come in these pillared bottles, which I actually really quite like. They are like fairly simple to look at, except the colored juice, which at first I wasn't such a fan of. And I thought, it's kind of bringing it down slightly. But now actually having all 7 sitting out, I quite like it, and I do think it kind of gives you a bit of an idea of the sort of fragrance profile. They have the Valentino studded lid. I know this kind of comes from the fashion side of it. I don't like this, and I said this in some of the comments before. I did work with Valentino on doing that video before about the 3. This is not sponsored. Also, they are fine with me saying my opinions. I love the fragrances, which you're going to hear about. I like the bottles. I don't love the lids, but meh. No one sees the lid hanging from your ear as you're wearing the fragrance. Okay, so each of these draws inspiration from a dreamlike state. They all have this inspiration from Rome. So like we're talking beautiful, sensual seduction. We're talking arts, we're talking culture. We're just talking like really beautiful things packaged and bottled. Okay, let's start with Punk Romantic with this sort of purpley juice. Now, this one is the perfect balance of being slightly sweet, but also really beautifully woody. I think it's actually a shame that we've got a sort of purple juice in this, because I know some people will be very much skewed by this and think that that purple is going to go more towards a sort of floral note or something maybe a bit powdery. Not at all. This is really very much about this vanilla and olive wood. So we've got beautiful sort of porous sandalwood that holds in all this Madagascan vanilla. It's really, really beautiful. What I do like about this, and what I think will sort of work for anyone, regardless of gender identity, whoever you want to be, I think this has enough of the depth in the woods, but then that vanilla just softens those edges just ever so slightly. I think this is a really great one for autumn into winter. It's kind of got the cozy merino sort of vibes. It's maybe the high sort of coat. It's the wraparound. It's just the comfort. And I love that. It just makes me feel warm and it makes me feel cozy. Punk Romantic, I don't really quite get the name. I think it's supposed to be like this rebellious sort of behavior because it is this sort of contradiction in notes, but I think it's really beautiful. And definitely one that I think some of you will be quite surprised by. Oh, this is Dream on a Roman Roof, I should say that. Each of them have their dreams. Dream on a Roman Roof. And for me, really, this would be more a dream in a sort of library. There's almost like this sort of musky, sort of beautiful library in terms of like the books, slightly dusty, but then all the depth of vanilla. I think it's great. Okay, let's go. Private Talk, a dream in the secret stairs. I do enjoy these dreams. I think it just gives them a little bit of personality. This one, and I should say, they all hero sort of 2 key notes, which I think does kind of help in kind of what we're thinking. This one heroes tuberose and cappuccino. The tuberose is forefront in this. So tuberose, a very full-bodied, powdery floral. This is a love it or a hate it. And There's certain fragrances that I absolutely love with tuberose. Tuberose Astral by Maison Crivelli, I think is absolutely gorgeous. A sparkling tuberose that has so much energy. This one is more, I would say, in that sort of traditional tuberose. Slightly more vintagey retro, a sort of 70s sort of green. And then the cappuccino note just gives it a sort of sharp, sour cut through, and not in a bad way. Something actually that helps to just define those edges of the tuberose. I like this. I don't love this. I kind of like it. It's probably one of my least favorites of the 7, I would say. This is for someone who is a tuberose fan. This is for someone that likes the sort of powdery, leaning into the florals, something which feels slightly, I hate to say, dare I say it, like older scents. I think there will be certain people that just smell incredible with this on their skin. So there is that tuberose, there's the cappuccino, but there's also notes of ginger, ylang essence, sandalwood, cedarwood, and white musks. So we are, in terms of the sort of fragrance circle, more in this sort of floral space. Is it me? I don't think so. Probably my least favorite of the lot. Okay, right, and that's not saying it's a bad thing. It's just not my favorite. Okay, moving to L'Innocence de l'air. And when I put this on Instagram and TikTok and did the quick sort of swipe through of the 7, there was a comment, and sorry, I should have looked up who you were. You had said, this sounds like a bit of me. This is also a bit of me. I really love this. This hero's rose and green mandarin. This is a dream in the romantic garden, and it's incredible. It's so fresh, it's vibrant, it's romantic. It's less of that sexy sort of upfront. It's more of the whisper, it's more of the running around, the sort of maze being chased. This is clearly a fantasy that I have. It's the sort of beautiful stretched lawn and the manicured hedges and the butler that sort of walks out and gives you a coffee or a tea. It's just sophisticated, perfectly formed, and really gentle, but still having this full body to it. The mandarin and the green mandarin sort of gives it a slightly sharper sort of push into it, whereas the rose pulls it back and sort of just holds it really beautifully. I love this one, and this is, it's young in a sort of energized sense, not young as in an immature sort of way. It's not at all. This is very grounded, and it's very confident, but in that sort of quiet sense. It's one I think that anyone could wear, but it's certainly kind of like young at heart, which I certainly sometimes feel like. I can do the sort of big and bold and old, and I can do the young and sort of citrusy. It's really beautiful, and it just is this everyday elegance I think really works. So yeah, this is actually one of my favorites while I'm looking at these. Yeah, for sure. Okay, on to Club Couture, A Dream in the Private Salon. And this, again, we've got this sort of purpley pink juice, and not necessarily representative of how it smells. This is bold. This is so unique, and actually probably a bit of a scene stealer in this collection. This has notes of fig, there's patchouli. It's slightly sort of bohemian in the sort of very relaxed, almost a little rebellious. It's interesting because, again, this is one of those ones that I've sprayed sometimes and thought I like, sometimes I thought I haven't. And on the times that I've worn it, I've almost forgotten I've been wearing it. And then I've had a sort of sniff or a nuzzle into myself. And I thought, that is beautiful. Like, it's really soft, but it feels very much defined. This also has an orris note in it. So it kind of gives it, I always think of orris iris as almost being a little purple in terms of like how vibrant it is. I'm not trying not to be led by the bottle, but I have always felt like this. I always think of leather and orris as being kind of purple. I get the same sort of almost creaminess from them. And this is kind of where I'm going with this. The fig gives it the fig and patchouli, gives it a balance of being earthy yet creamy and a little nutty. I like it. It's the one that I'm really intrigued by it because I kind of understand it less, and every time I smell it, I'm kind of brought somewhere else with it, if that makes any sense. It's the least clear, but also the most defined in it being so different. That probably makes absolutely no sense. But yeah, it's the most intriguing. We're gonna go with that. Okay, this one is the hero of the whole collection here. This is Sogno in Rosso, Dream in Red, and it's a dream in the private theatre. This is heroed, this is heroing black pepper and a milk foam accord. Ooh. Now, milk foam accord, I was like, what is that? It's a slightly creamy, slightly milky, funnily enough, sort of note that just sits really beautifully against quite a sharp and driving black pepper note. This is sexy. So when we had this sort of the more romantic L'Innocence layer, this is the first date. This is the third date where everything has just ramped it up. And then maybe Club Couture is maybe the marriage where everything's maybe just fizzling. I love this. And this is the, when I spoke about this, it's the sort of, it is the little chat in the ear. It's the sort of the scent behind the ear, behind the leg, wherever you want to put it. It's sexy. And I love too that every time I've worn this, and I have one of these at home that I've worn, and every time I've worn this, I have had someone ask what I'm wearing. This is a head turner, a real power playing perfume. That was good. A real sort of, one that is could be a calling card. It's elevated, it's sexy, it's sensual, it's confident, it's alluring. It's all those things that we want to be. It's the beautiful red dress, it's the tailored black suit, it's maybe the roll neck, it's the cashmere. It's just all these great things. There is the black pepper note, there's the milk foam accord, there's an orange blossom note in this, there's sandalwood, there's ambergris, and then there's this beautiful, slightly sweet bourbon vanilla note, which is kind of what you've got left on the skin. I really like this one actually, and I thought I liked this one, and I'm sitting here thinking, oh, I really like that. It's intoxicating. You know, it really does grab your nose. So I really like this one. Thank you very much. The next one is the one that I heroed in this video past as the one that I think most of you could be the best sort of blind buy. I mean, there'll probably be one in this that you've been watching thinking, I love the sound of that. So let me know in the comments below. But this is behind the scene, and this is vetiver and hazelnut, a dream in the hidden room. The reason why I think this is maybe the biggest crowd pleaser, certainly with you guys, is it's sophisticated, it's elegant, it's safe, and not safe in a bad way. It's safe in that the vetiver gives us the grassiness and something which grounds us. The hazelnut gives us a slight nuttiness, but something that still kind of has a bit of woodiness to it. It's an easy wearer, and it's something that will complement a suit, a shirt, a crisp white shirt, a roll neck, pared back sort of jeans and a big comfy jumper. Like, it's something that does it all. This will depend on you. If you want an elevated experience, then this could be the one for you. I have loved sort of going between Sogno and Rosso for those sensual, sexy moments to the slightly more everyday, elevated everyday of behind the scene. It's great. It's really great. The final one is Notte d'Oro, Dream in a Baroque Banquet Hall. Baroque Banquet Hall, Baroque Banquet Room, Dream in a Banquet Room. Essentially, the best dinner you've ever been to. Maybe not yet, but you're gonna go here with this. This is a long banqueting table with candles on it, loads of food out there. We've got sort of towers of fruits. We've got some sort of suckling pig. We've gone back in time with this. We've got trifles, we've got cakes, we've got amaretto. You've moved on. You're having maybe a little coffee, an Irish whiskey, whatever you wanna drink. It's full-bodied red wine. It's just all the good stuff. It's almost like sort of Tudor gout, I'm gonna say. That is this. It's not what this smells like. This has got almond and oud. Went off piece there, but you've got the vibe now. Almond and oud, it's decadent, it's smoky, it's sweet. This is the most gourmand of all of them, but it's a very wearable, gorgeous gourmand. And what I like about this is that the almond sort of gives it the sweetness, the oud gives it the grounding smokiness, and the thing that really sort of gives it the luxurious edge. I love this. It's still got that sort of musky sort of book on the shelf sort of vibe, and the sort of times of past within a bottle. And that's what I like about this. It feels like they are scents that have been around for some time, whereas they've actually just been launched. Like, they feel like they're familiar, they feel like things that I've worn before, but they also still feel really different. And why I picked this in my 3 when I picked out 3 was I just love that this is such a wearable gourmand. And I love the oud, I love the almond, I love the patchouli in this, I love the rose in this, and I love the black cherry in this. It just works, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's everything that a gourmand should be. But there you go, the 7. Let me know in the comments below which of the 7 you would like to try. And if you have tried any of these, also let me know. When I was doing my sort of like, oh, who's spoken about these before? I didn't see much online, so I'm happy to be able to bring these to you. I'm really pleased with this collection. I think it's gorgeous. Let's ignore the lid, but the actual fragrances and the bottles I think are gorgeous. Certainly something that I think Valentino should be really pleased with. Did I tell you how much these were? I think I did. £295. I'll give you a link to everything down below. Yes, we have elevated it. Normally about sort of £90 for a Born in Rome or whatever it is. But thank you very much for watching. If you're still new here and you've not pressed those buttons to ensure that you're always following and subscribing, please do now. But until my next new video, bye-bye.